can see the way they hate. And I know better than to listen to the people who are calling us slaves. I can feel the sunlight shining.
Well, good morning. It's Monday, November 11th, 2024, and welcome to episode 803 of the Lots Project Morning Show, where the coffee is strong, the opinions are stronger, and everything is always filter-free. I'm Brian, your host, and today I'm enjoying a Silver Bullet blend from foodforestfarms.com, where you can get 10% off with discount code LOTS10. That's LOTS10, and the shipping's always free. While you're there, check out C4 Club. Awesome monthly coffee club where you can get pounds of coffee shipped directly to your door. Every month by a premium air roasted coffee specialist. Today I'm going to be talking about the gutter test, Bitcoin for beginners, news transitions, and more. Thanks for stopping in. Canadian Farmstead over in the vertical feed says, vertical feed this morning. Today is the day that we went to just the new channel. We'll see what happens. Might need to grab that link and share it just because I think most people didn't listen, and didn't take the opportunity to find the new channel. Hey, Canadian Farmstead, thanks for popping in on the new feed. Hey, if you could grab that link and share it, would be great. I appreciate that. I don't think good morning and good day, John Palmer. I don't think oh, you were. Canadian Farmstead was subscribed and it didn't pop up. Of course it didn't. Thanks, Google. Thanks, YouTube. Appreciate you and all your support and growing my channel, and thus your grabbing link. Here we go. Oh, you got it. Thanks. I went to put it in the Facebook feed, and there it is. So thank you. I appreciate that. Hope everything went well this weekend. We'll see how many people roll in and find the show. I don't know. We'll find out. Then kind of teetering a little bit on the show and the direction to go with it. The split was interesting. Made me think a lot. Reevaluate and contemplate for sure. Good morning, Diggs. By the way, what's going on, man? Appreciate you stopping by again and swinging through. Yeah, it was a good weekend. I'm going to talk about Sorry, getting all set back up here again after digging through that link. Man, I get everything in the exact spot I want it. Everything where it needs to be to fit on the screen. Canadian Farmstead said I had to search the show even though I was subscribed with notifications. Huh, wonderful. That's wonderful. Reed's Rabbitry popping up on Noster. Hunter, I threw it up on Twitch again today. Just in case that's what you needed to make your day better. So basically, Canadian Farmstead saying YouTube fucked me. I asked people to prepare and to like the new channel, subscribe to the new channel, turn on notifications, and it just doesn't show up. It doesn't show up. Good morning. Gotta believe that's Jim. Jim popping in over at Noster. Thanks you for stopping. I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this. So gonna have to figure that out, or it's not even. I mean, it's beating my head against the wall logging on if they're not going to show. Let even the people that want to watch log on, let alone have people find it other ways. So Anyway, let's talk about what's on the list here this weekend. YouTube. Canadian Farmstead says YouTube took me to the Diddy party. Yeah, they did for sure. Hey guys, did you guys happen to see the Bitcoin price this weekend? Happen to see any Bitcoin news or prices this weekend? I think we had like 3 or 4 all-time highs, at least two, But right now we're sitting at 82,230. That's $82,230 per Bitcoin. Pip says Bitcoin price go brrr. Good morning. Good morning, Pip. Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate it. Hope you didn't have too much trouble finding the new feed. Canadian Farmstead said that he had to force YouTube to show him the show. So yeah, 82,230 was fantastic. It was fun watching it all weekend, getting notifications on my phone of now above. Canadian Farm says don't touch the ducks. Boop. Boop. Just give him a little love there. We got the Sailor Duck and the Red Star Duck doing a phenomenal job. Jim says 58, 68, 78, 88K. Here we come. How about 888? 188, 288. So I have Bitcoin stuff on. Hunter says I might be able to afford a place soon. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's it is what it is. It is what it is. We'll go into that another day. But Jim says 88, 108, 208. Yeah, it's all right. I like it. I was watching the prices all weekend. I was just smiling. I was like, Orange Man, good for Orange Coin. That's all I could think. Got the shirt going on. I love Bitcoin. That's all I could have is in my head is Orange Man, good for Orange Coin. We'll see for sure. I have a story about Bitcoin here, and it's gonna be a little later in the show. First, I want to talk about the gutters, the real life, the tangible things that I'm doing to make life better. Messing around with that DIY gutter install on the garden shed. Got another garden shed showing up today, actually, a little smaller one, not a 10x12. This one's a 3x5. Excited to get that up and utilize that. I don't know if we'll be putting rainwater catch off it. We'll see how it's set up. But basically, if you haven't listened, if you're new or you missed it, but put up a metal garden shed up at our build site out at Delinquent Scully. It really Canadian Farmstead says I'm pretty sure the uncertainty was keeping it suppressed. Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised if there's another dip. We'll see. Got something on my face. Oh. Sorry. Sorry. Looking in the mirror. Anyway, got garden shed. Wanted to grab some water off it. It's a 10x12 shed, so that's a significant amount of roof. It's not a ton. But when the rain falls here in Tennessee, it falls a lot. So there was definitely advantages to figuring out how to collect the water off the top. We will be collecting the water off our cabin. We're hopefully going to have spring-fed system too. So we'll hopefully, fingers crossed, have plenty of water. I don't want to have to worry about water. There's a ton on the property. Corey and I actually talked about it a little bit this weekend. Even if we go with just rainwater collection at our place and it gets low, having several other developed springs and water sources on the property, even if they're not to where we're staying, makes things it makes you feel a little more secure with the water. Um, but up at our site where we're putting that shed, I kind of wanted to get some water collection. I wanted to utilize that. It was a chance to do a little bit of thinking, a little DIY project, because the way the shed was and the way that it was constructed, I couldn't attach normal gutters to it. I could have, maybe. I don't know. I looked at it a bunch of ways, and it didn't really lend itself to the traditional gutters or eaves troughs if you're above the border. Uh, didn't really lend itself well to that. So I came up with a new idea after pondering a bunch of YouTube videos, looking at different stuff. Kind of took a combination of a couple different guys that I saw do these systems on metal roofs. Basically took a PVC pipe, cut a slot out of it, fit it onto the metal roof so that the water runs down the pipe and goes into the trough and dips out. It took quite a while. It was kind of an extended project where it took some getting some supplies. Took multiple steps because I painted the gutters before I put them up. Got them up and just other shit going on. So it was pretty extended. But last week I was able to get the plumbing into a tote. So I had the gutters on. I was able to put screen over the top. I had a couple different ideas for keeping the leaves and debris out of the gutters. Finally ended up landing on it's a Gorilla all-weather tape and some fiberglass screen. Works so far. I don't know long term how well it'll work. I think this tape is pretty solid. It seems to be sticking pretty well, especially if it gets into the sun and it kind of melts itself on there. So we'll see. Hopefully the tape holds up with the screen. Otherwise, I'll have to go a different route. I had originally thought I was going to go Super 77. Didn't need it if the tape works. So we'll see. We'll see on that. It did keep the leaves out. We had a bunch of leaves and a little bit of rain after I got the screens on, and it just pushed the leaves up onto the top of the screen and eventually hopefully dry out and blow away, or I just kind of to brush them off there. But got the plumbing dry fitted. I glued in anything that was vertically held in, and then left anything that was a horizontal connection just dry fit, so I could take it apart if it didn't work. And I wanted to test it, see how things went. And so then we got a storm. It was nice. Overnight Friday, all day Saturday. No, it was, what's today? Monday. Happy Veterans Day, by the way, for all of you that served. Glad you made it out. Hopefully you're doing all right. It must have been Saturday, and then Saturday overnight. Sunday morning, Corey and I went out to check. So we got between 2 and 3 inches of rain on Saturday. Doing quick calculations, helping with ChatGPT helping me, figured out that I get about 75 gallons per inch off that roof. So basically, where is that? Sorry, guys. My sats went down. I don't know. There it is. Basically, I should be gathering about 75 gallons per inch of rain. So getting the 2 to 2.5 inches, I was thinking 150 gallons ish should be in the tote. If everything worked well. If everything drained right, if nothing got clogged up, if the plumbing didn't break apart because I didn't glue it. And so Corey and I took a little trip out yesterday morning, made our way up to the site and popped open the tote, and there it was, and there was just about 150 gallons. So I don't know if we exactly got 2 inches. I don't know if we got 2.5. I don't know if I lost a bunch of water. I'll have to be up there when it rains and when it rains significantly. But for all, I mean, really, it worked. There's the tote's half full. Tote's half full of crystal clear water, and that's exciting. So actually, you can see over my head there, if you're watching on the video, I was just sketching a little bit of overflow system and a first flush system. Those are the next 2 things to come in. First flush system, basically, I'm just gonna have some pipe hanging down and let the water fill the pipe. Let all the debris go into the pipe. Let it settle into the bottom and be able to clean out the bottom of the pipe and let it slowly drip away. So each rain event will fill the pipe and then continue to fill the tote. As far as overflow on the tote, I'm thinking I'm going to, instead of drilling another hole in the tote, I'm just going to use some physics where, well, I don't know if it's actually physics. Basically, I'm going to have, I wish I could just grab that picture up there. Basically, I'm going to have a pipe come out of the tote. It will go up. You have a 90. Actually, I'll have a T because I'm going to have a bypass in the middle where I can just open it up and drain the whole thing. But basically, you're going to have a 90. It's going to go up the side of the tote cage to the level where I want the overflow to be. So just below the top of the tote. And then it's going to go across and down and out and drain over to where I want to discharge it. There'll be 2 different places I want to discharge it. I'm going to discharge it into my little pond I'm digging, which will be another 1,400 gallons of water storage. And then when that's full, I'll be able to turn a valve and have it drain somewhere else, which I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it after that. At the point I have 1,650 gallons of water, I don't know where I'm going to trickle any excess. But basically, the water in the tote, as it rises, it'll go up the pipe. And as soon as it gets to the level of the top pipe, it'll spill through and then just start to drain out. Not sure if I'm going to need a siphon break in there. I would hate to have that start flowing and then just siphon the whole tote out and drain it. That would kind of suck. But basically, going to go with yeah. That's going to be the overflow. Like I said, there's going to be a little valve in the middle so that I can bypass that and drain it. Going to send that over into the pond, and then all of this water actually is going to be used for aquaculture, goldfish and plants, growing some plants and greens and things like that. So exciting to have water there. Exciting to mess around with it and do those DIY gutters. I don't know how many times on the property we'll end up having to do those. Like our cabin will be constructed to use normal gutters you hang on, just the normal that are on every other house. But I don't know how much more metal roof buildings, and I think if it wasn't a 12-foot building, if it was under 10 foot, this would be a pretty easy job. But the fact that I had to basically construct a pipe over 10 foot and then cut it out, it became a little more challenging. And but everything else, as far as hanging it with the metal strapping, the screen was a little wonky. That could probably get dialed in a little bit better. But it was a pretty simple system, all in all. So it was a fun little project. We'll wrap it up. I think I need a little bit more pipe to complete the piping, and I need to do a little bit more work on the pond before I start collecting the overflow in the little pond. So that would be good. It'll be good. As far as the build site, I think should be heading to the builder this week, or the supplier this week or next week, and getting kind of finalizing plans, figuring out material, and start purchasing that, getting it up the hill, and getting ready to put posts in the ground. And then also on the docket for the property is heading out to get a bunch of solar panels. Tim and I are going in on some used solar panels, and we'll probably, hopefully, be picking up. I should be picking up about 30 kilowatts of solar panels here in the next week or two, and that'll be a whole day trip. That'll be interesting trip for sure. But drive halfway across the state of Tennessee, pick up a load of solar panels, and come back and unload it at the property. So that's what's on the list. Got some other things to do on over on Tim's side. With he's got some materials there. We got to build another cabin. Why would you ever have companies do shit on their web pages or their whatever contact, however their shit works? StreamYard here, I have a it won't even work when it's full screen. So StreamYard put their help button right over the send button in the chat. So I'm not sure how I'm supposed to send. I guess I can hit help. I can hit help and ask them, how do I send a message in the fucking chat with your help button over the send? Jesus, I like literally, yeah, interest. I just don't know. I don't know. Anyway, so that's a little update on the property, on the cabin build, and moving forward on that. So that was a win to get out there and check out the water situation. And Canadian Barb says they're helping. Yeah, they're really helping for sure. So that's why I don't have any comments in the, well, other than the fact that nobody's watching the vertical feed, the fact that I can't even send a message over there. Can't send a good morning. I can't answer anybody if someone happened to stop there and leave a message. Silver Bullet blend is fantastic. Tired Monday morning. I couldn't go to sleep last night for some reason. I was sleeping very well this morning when I got up, or when I had to get up. Yeah, so it's a good weekend. Corey and I hung out. Corey had Friday off. We went to town. We went to lunch. We went over to Charlie's Pizza on the way. Don't get to have Charlie's very often now since they stopped doing their food truck and coming to town here. It's like a half an hour away now, so to take the time out to drive there, it's not as good if we order it and take it to go. So we'll eat there. And I mean, now that the weather's a little better, it's easier. But it was tough leaving the dogs and running over there to eat. And it's a lot to go drive a half an hour to eat and drive home, and it's not really in the direction of anything in particular. So we didn't get to go as often, especially not once a week like we were doing with when the food truck was coming. And got to see Charlie, got to see the staff there. They're pretty cool people. Enjoy talking to them. They're always super friendly, and the food is great. And he told us that his buddy is actually coming down, and they're going to fire up the food truck again and start coming to Saltillo again weekly. So Brian's going to get fat again with his pizza again. Gonna get fat again. Yeah, so Charlie's is gonna come back. That's exciting. I was wondering if he was gonna open that truck back up after he had his brick and mortar location, and he had kind of wavered and said that he was just gonna do events, some of the bigger events and things like that. But it sounds like one of his buddies needed something to do, and he's gonna come down and learn how to make pizzas in the pizza truck. So pizza coming back to town here. Trump wins and everything. Trump wins, the new mayor and the new mayor here, all the new aldermen here in town, and now everything's going to go back to normal, I guess. So I was popping around on the interwebs this weekend doing some work on affiliate stuff and the new podcast. By the way, new episode of the podcast out today. You can check that out at Director Detour. You can put that in your podcast player. Promoda was my guest today. A really cool guy from India, came over and has made his way in computer science, but along the way figured out that he's pretty damn good at coaching people, and transitioned into that and wrote a book, and kind of follows the goal setting models. We talked a little bit about goal setting and different stuff, so check it out. Promoda is a great guy. Check him out on the show, and then follow him all over socials. Check out Direct or Detour on the audio feeds and over its Patreon page. And yeah, just getting that rolling. That's episode 4. So just the beginning of that. It's just the tip. So, but I was on doing some work for that, and with Bitcoin going up, I have been taking notes, kind of preparing for the, I don't know if we call it onslaught, but the re-interest in Bitcoin, as it runs up, as the price goes up during the bull markets. People want to know about it. They don't want to know about it when it's dropping. They don't want to know about it when they should be buying it. When it dips, when the bears come, when the price drops, when things contract and consolidate. Nobody wants to know about it when they could get it on sale. They only want it when it bumps, when it hits all-time highs, when it's in the news, when it's exciting, and it doesn't make sense. But anyway, I was thinking about doing some content, getting some plans together for probably the beginning of the year push, with some Bitcoin content, some Bitcoin products, as the Bitcoin shirts, and the jade and whatnot, as people get interested. And I saw this article. It's not an article. It's on MSN. MSN has a little slideshow. I gotta get back to the beginning. I got stuck on one of these slides in the middle. MSN has a slideshow. Let me get it up on the screen here. And Canadian Farmstead's message about their helping definitely rings true here. Let's see. You guys see that all right? I wonder if this goes there. Bitcoin for beginners, everything you need to know. Everything you need to know. So I was just curious. I was curious what information MSN was putting out. The bandwagon information. So I just started reading them. And was trying to decide if I agreed with them, if they were accurate, if I would change anything, or if it was absolutely absurd. So we will see here. Bitcoin for beginners, everything you need to know. When we think of something valuable, we tend to think of precious metals like gold. As a society, we have mutually agreed that gold is a highly valuable substance. It's rare because there is a limited supply. It's durable, and it's possible to authenticate whether or not it's a real thing. As such, gold has been used as an effective form of currency for centuries. Its value is agreed upon by all, so it can easily be exchanged for goods and services. Digital gold, huh? Digital gold. What is Bitcoin? What is Bitcoin? God damn it. Fucking Windows. If I'm using Linux, does all this shit stop with the auto sizing of fucking Windows and shit like that? Because if I could avoid that, if that if Linux fixes that, and don't tell me fucking Apple, because I won't use a fucking Apple, but if Linux I will learn it. When I grab a tab and I move it and it auto resizes to some bullshit I don't want, one is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is relatively new type of currency, just like the euro or the dollar, or nothing like either one of those. Canadian Farm says it's pretty sure you're too old to learn Linux. All right, I'm old. Yeah, I am. I mean, but you can teach an old dog new tricks. You can always teach an old dog new tricks. Bitcoin is relatively new type of currency, just like the euro or the dollar. This is the main difference, guys. The main difference between Bitcoin and the euro or the dollar is that it is completely digital currency, also known as a cryptocurrency. It's a piece of computer code that is used as a medium of exchange. Okay, we'll go on to the next slide. The mysterious inventor or inventors. Bitcoin was invented in 2009, the first cryptocurrency, and it was the first cryptocurrency. It was created by an unknown cryptographer, a group of cryptographers who used the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto. Their true identity remains unknown to this day. Okay, I mean, that's pretty tough. Canadian Farmstead says, that's how I describe Bitcoin, just like the euro or the dollar, pretty much exactly the same. Yep, that's what I was thinking as I was reading this. Jim says we don't need a good definition. How is Bitcoin used? This was a good one too. Just like any other currency, you can store it in an online wallet like a bank account, exchange it for goods and services, and make payments with it. Unlike other currencies, you can use Bitcoins without involving a bank or other third party. I mean, I don't think they said anything technically wrong there. Storing Bitcoin. You keep your Bitcoins in a digital wallet. You guys got all your Bitcoins? Which can be accessed through your phone or computer. There's no central bank or organization behind Bitcoin. The currency is used on a peer-to-peer basis without control by any government, company, or financial institution. So nothing like the euro or the US dollar. Did the guy that did the fifth slide talk to the guy that did the second slide? Bitcoin value. The value of Bitcoin is determined by supply and demand. Therefore, it varies just like stocks. Oh, now we're bringing stocks into the great. We got to relate this to anything that anybody knows. It's just like the dollar, but not. It's just like stocks, but not. Current affairs and political changes can also cause the value of Bitcoin to increase or decrease quite abruptly. Reed's Rabbitry says, now, they did say for a brand new person. That's the problem, is they're starting new people confused. Bitcoin value, again, the value of a single Bitcoin has gone up from less than US $1 to in 2011 to more than 68,000 as of November 2021. Bullshit, it's November 2020. 68 and 21. When the fuck did they write this article? My God. Their latest numbers were 68,000. Well, is that the all-time high, maybe, when they wrote this? John Palmer says you have to remember talking to people you know nothing about it. There's got to be a better There has to be better analogies. If I tell you something is just like the dollar or the euro, the response to people that have no idea what it is like, well, why do I need it? Why do I need another phone if I already have a phone that works just fine? The people that are getting into it and we want to get into it have no motivation to. They don't just trust the dollar. I mean, they should. They should. Reed's Rapture says, okay, how would I describe it? I don't know yet. That's the magic button. But this was obviously generated by an AI, the further we get into it. This was actually right. There's a limit to the number of Bitcoins that can exist in the world. According to Bitcoin, there will... well, no, never mind. According to Bitcoin, language, the way you say things, I think really sets a precedent. Saying according to Bitcoin really leads people to the path that there's some Bitcoin company out there that's doing this. Jim says there's blocks on a chain. What else do you need to know? Yeah, it's a ledger. It's an accounting system. There's no coins. There's no Bitcoins. When we start putting the S on the bottom, I wish I had more Bitcoin. Do you use the plural of Bitcoins? If you're a whole coin, if you have 2.0 Bitcoin, do you say I have Bitcoins? I want to spend my Bitcoins. Do you speak of them as individual tokens? Canadian Farmstead says it's a Ponzi scheme. Right, it is. I mean, it is. According to Bitcoin, there will never be more than 21 million. This limitation helps to secure the value of the existing Bitcoins. Sure, yeah. Jim says, and you stack them in your mind, right? Mining is the process by which new Bitcoins are created and entered into circulation, similar to the process of minting new banknotes. Not even close to minting new banknotes. It's not. It's almost the exact opposite. Got to stack them biddies. Mining is a painstaking and costly process. Canadian Farmstead says, not to brag, but I'm a whole sadder. Oh man, now with the new price, man, that's impressive. That's impressive for sure. Mining is a painstaking and costly process, similar to minting new banknotes. Energy consumption. Here we go on this bullshit. It can only be done using powerful, highly sophisticated hardware and an extremely complex computational math problem. That's kind of right. It requires a large number of powerful computers. That's fairly accurate. If you want to be very successful at it. Which is why Bitcoin mining is said to have a high carbon footprint. Or you can just use excess runoff energy streams that no one's utilizing at the time to run miners. Jim says those imaginary pickaxes are heavy and hard to swing, right? It's painstaking. Oh man, the number of indentured servants that we have mining our Bitcoin. Whew, the labor is just unbelievable. How many Bitcoins are there? We already talked about this, didn't we? There are currently around 19,639,950 Bitcoins in existence. I don't know when this was made. Due to the way the mining system works, the process becomes slower and slower the more Bitcoins there are in circulation. It's expected that the limit of 21 million Bitcoins won't be reached until the year 2140. I can't say anything bad about that. 16 tons, and what do you get? A half a sat and a little more sick. Buying Bitcoins. You guys want to know how to buy some Bitcoins? Good morning, Take the Ride. How's it going? Canadian Farm says we got virtual slaves mining the Bitcoin. Canadian Farm says the more you read, the less I know about Bitcoin, right? Buying Bitcoins. For the average person wanting to procure a Bitcoin, hey guys, are we all average Joes wanting to procure a Bitcoin? I got the instructions here. Mining is not an option. Instead, they can purchase them at a Bitcoin exchange office. There are several websites that buy and sell Bitcoin. We need to find our... Do you guys know where your local Bitcoin exchange office is? Jim says Reverend Hodl is someone to hold regarding Bitcoin mining. That is 100% positive. Yeah, absolutely. And especially doing it off-grid. And Take the Ride says my mic's overdriving. That doesn't surprise me. This morning has been an absolute shit show. This weekend, I don't know what's going on. I think my mic cord is shitting the bed, and I might actually have to go and try to find a new one today. When I moved my setup out to Delinquent's Gully, it got spun up and twisted. And this weekend, when I was doing some recording for some other things, it just randomly cut out. Just randomly cut out. So I don't know. We'll see. But Reed's Raptree says they found another Bitcoin ATM locally. Before I left Minnesota, when I was still working in the gas stations, like every Quick Trip, which was a major chain in Minnesota, Wisconsin area, had a Bitcoin ATM in them. The fees are absolutely ungodly, Jim, and they've gone to KYC. The first ones I saw, so being in the gas tech industry, when I first got in would have been like 2018, maybe 2018 when I got that job, maybe before that, 2017. The Bitcoin ATMs I saw were in unsavory neighborhoods where there may have or may not have been a lot of cash transactions for substances, and these guys were pumping dollar bills into the Bitcoin ATM and getting a wallet receipt pumped out. No ID, no nothing like that. It was just like, whoop, whoop, here you go. At this point now, it's KYC'd where you give ID and all sorts of shit. So, but Reed's Rabbitry says adds to the criminal nature. It adds to the fact that that's the people that we're gonna install them. But anyway, now you can find them. I'm pretty sure there's an app that you can pull up and find the closest one. But they were going into all the major gas stations right next to the USD ATM. So that was interesting. The VIG was pretty good, pretty big. pretty big. I mean, this was back when the price was 17,000. I think they were getting them for quite a bit. John Palmer says, living around Tulsa, it's hard to remember that Quick Trip isn't everywhere, except Quick Trip in Minnesota and Wisconsin is a KT, not a QT. But I believe that it's the same company. I can't remember. There was something weird with Iowa, possibly Oklahoma. I can't remember how it all went. It didn't really matter for me. I didn't work out of Minnesota, Wisconsin, South Dakota, North Dakota. So, yeah, there was something to do with Quick Trip. Our Quick Trip was a KT, Quick, KWIK, Quick Trip. And then QT was related to them, Quick Trip, Quick, QUIC, or QWIK. There's all sorts of them, you know, Quickie Mart. Next, buying Bitcoins again. The price of a single Bitcoin is astronomical these days. I wish. So luckily you don't have to buy a full one. It's possible to purchase a fraction of a Bitcoin. They got part of that right. I don't know if the price is necessarily astronomical, but you can buy a fraction of a Bitcoin, which is nice. They got that right. Benefits of Bitcoin, less fees. Many users prefer Bitcoin because it exists outside of traditional financial institutions. Got one right. This means you don't have to pay fees to a bank for storing or transferring your money. Benefits of Bitcoin, privacy. Oh, where did I go? There we go. John Palmer says Tulsa is the corporate office. Is it the corporate office for Quick Trip KWIK Trip? Pip says astronomical, not yet, right? To create a Bitcoin wallet, you don't need to provide the usual personal details like your name and billing address. No personal data is required to store and use this currency, meaning it provides a high level of privacy to its users. Did they rehash this fucking article? I love that they have if you're watching the video, they have the anonymous Guy Fawkes, I don't even know how to fucking say it, the mask. And these guys are all wearing ski masks using their computer. Hunter wants to talk about adds to the criminal nature, quote unquote. There you go. There you go. Privacy. If we want privacy, we're criminals. The dark side. The dark side, guys. For this reason, because of the privacy, Bitcoin is popular on the dark web, where drugs and weapons are traded. The anonymity is naturally appreciated by those involved in illegal activities online. Jim says, how many articles have been rewritten by AI? Yeah, this is MSN, so MSN, so yeah, ransom. Oh boy, ransom. Bitcoin is also preferred payment method for online scammers looking for ransom. A common scheme is for the perpetrator to email someone saying they have hacked them and access compromising information or photos that they will share if a ransom isn't paid. Wait, what? Pip's wondering if they pulled an article from 2019. Yeah, I didn't. I'll see what the date is here in a second. Anonymous but traceable. Although Bitcoin wallets and users are anonymous, the currency system of transparency means that all transactions are public and traceable. All criminal transactions can be tracked, even if the user's identity is unknown What's more, anonymity is lost once the user tries to convert their Bitcoin into non-digital currency like the euro or the dollar. I mean, why would you want to use it if that's the case? Hunter wants to get some of that dark web. Fraud. Once data about a Bitcoin transaction is created, it can never be deleted. That's why it's all traceable, and also why most types of fraud are impossible. Huh. So it's not like the dollar or the euro. Payment method. Bitcoin was associated with all sorts of dodgy dealings like black market purchases and ransom scams when it first came into circulation. But these days, it's commonly used in more mainstream commercial transactions. MSM's getting on the Bitcoin board. Paying with Bitcoin. Some online retailers already accept Bitcoin as a payment method. For example, Microsoft, AT&T, Expedia, and Shopify all allow Bitcoin payments. Physical stores. What's more, an increasing number of physical stores, restaurants, and are equipping themselves for Bitcoin payment. Examples include Starbucks, Home Depot, and Burger King. International transfers. Anyone who has tried to send money to another country with a different currency knows that it's complicated, slow, and expensive. International Bitcoin transfers are comparatively cheap and work much faster. See, the way they word shit makes you realize they have no fucking clue what they're talking. There's no international transfer. It's just a Bitcoin transfer from an address to an address. Jim says they're telling us why Bitcoin is better without saying it. Yeah, they are. They are. Where we're going, there are no borders. Remittances. Bitcoin has become the favored transfer method of many migrant workers abroad when it comes to sending money back home to their families. It's quickly overtaken traditional bank transfers and operators like MoneyGram. Yeah. Yeah. The poor people always figure out what the best way to do it is. Because it makes so much difference. Is Bitcoin taxed? Let's see how we do with this one. Each country has its own policy about how Bitcoin payments are taxed. Those using Bitcoin need to do some research and find out how it works in their locale. In some countries, it's totally tax exempt. Bitcoin ATM. Vancouver in Canada was the first city to have a Bitcoin ATM, but they can be found all over the world. Now you can enter your Bitcoin address at an ATM, put cash in, and you'll receive Bitcoins in your digital wallet in return. Although they're much rarer, some Bitcoin ATMs actually allow you to convert your Bitcoins into cash. Whoa. Why? Some other cryptocurrencies on the rise include Ripple, Ethereum, Dash, Monero, and Litecoin. Got to get their plugs in. And Doge. Oh, God. Oh. Trouble for Bitcoin. Wait. Hold on a second. The value of Bitcoin reached an all-time high in November 2021, but by January of 2022, its value decreased by 50%. This drop came after the U.S. Federal Reserve announced a policy change that would impact Bitcoin exchange rates. This just goes to show how volatile the cryptocurrency market can be. Don't get into the Bitcoin, guys. It's like that. It's like the this article is like the Dewey Cox story. It's a Dewey Cox, the Johnny Cash spoof with John C. Reilly, where every time he goes into the back room with Tim Meadows, he's like trying all the different drugs, and he's like, it's not addictive for me. It makes everything great. You don't want none of this. You don't want none of this. Preaching the praises of it, and then at the end, just like, you don't want any of it. Pip says Bitcoin can get you access to passports just in case you need to flee a collapsing first world country. You can get a passport with Bitcoin. I mean, you can get a passport if you have enough of any currency, really. And he's wondering if Dash is still around. I don't know. I don't know if Dash is still kicking. I kind of just blacked out on all everything other than Bitcoin. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm guessing it's still around. So it's going to be interesting the next year or more. How many of you went through the last bull run and drop the pullback? Pip says, was it Ecuador that asked for 3 Bitcoin investment and issue a visa? I believe that is El Salvador, and I think it's 2 Bitcoin. Have to ask Scramblin. He is hot on that to open a coffee farm in El Salvador. Canadian Farmstead was around for the ride. Lots of people get interested in Bitcoin when the price goes up. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with the incoming president willing to at least acknowledge it and its importance. We'll see how things go. We'll see how things go here, and also keep in mind that it's not the USD. It's not United States based. That was something with COVID that really, I really started to notice it at that point, was people conspiracy theories when COVID was starting to become so obvious that it was not just a random pandemic that started. And folks that were waking up after the fact said, these people did it for this reason. They were coming up with reasons what motivated the whole thing, and people were saying it was the election, the presidential election. And if you take 2 seconds and step back and realize that this happened all over the world, not just in the United States, not just in North America, but all over the world, and then try to put your assertion that it was all about the U.S. election, you sound pretty fucking not right. Canadian Farmstead says, told a friend about ShakePay a few months ago. He just messaged me the other day. Yeah, I have a couple of those friends. I really wish I was that friend, but I was that friend when it was probably a more reasonable thing to be skeptical. 2012, 2013 ish, 2014 ish. Especially being poor and putting money into something that is really, it was hard to buy. It was hard to use. No one used it. It was a very small community, and it was a significant amount of money at the time for me, even though the price was absolutely rock bottom as you look at it today. You have to understand everybody's situation as they're coming into it, but it is definitely a phenomenon that people want to get in at the top. It is what it is. It is what it is. Where do you think the pullback comes? How far back? Because we all know. Reed Drabtree said, right, at $100 I couldn't afford food, and that was the thing. It was a $12 Bitcoin. The process of buying it was such that you weren't going to spend $12. I found a notebook. It's since been burned because I didn't want it anymore, reminding me the fact that I was trying to come up with $100 to buy $12 Bitcoin. Now I was spending ridiculous amounts of money at the bar. I could have taken one bar tab and covered that $100, but in my mind, for some reason, coming up with $100 to throw at Bitcoin at that point was too much. Couldn't find it in the budget. Penciling it out. It was more penciling it out and explaining it to the person that I shared bank accounts with what I was buying with it. Even if if you're going out spending it at the bar, at least you got drunk. At least you grabbed it and you drank it. You got drunk. You knew what was going on. Taking $100 and buying Bitcoin with it in 2012, 2013, whenever that was a totally different story. I wish I did. I wish I had. Because you think about the fact that, well, and you don't know. Maybe you bought it and then sold it when it went up to $100. If you bought Bitcoin at $12 a coin and it went to $200 a coin, are you satisfied? Do you see the potential, or do you feel like you got lucky? Are you satisfied with your gains? Do you buy more? Do you push on? And you got to put yourself back in that time. You got to put yourself back in the uncertainty of what it was. At this point, I think anybody that's been in and around Canadian Farm says, I remember reading about when you could mine it with your Pentium 2. I thought, hey, I should try that, and I didn't. So around that time, I was at a job where we had like 80+% of our time on the clock was just spent sitting on a computer. We were monitoring control systems for the majority of it. For some of it, a lot of the time we were shut down because we were investor funded. Money would run out, so we were just on the clock on the internet, watching YouTube videos and shit like that. I read a lot about Bitcoin at this time and still couldn't flip the switch on it. I wish I had been able to. I really do. But Jim says, I should have bought IBM, I should have bought Xerox, I should have bought Yahoo. Did you try to figure out how to buy those? Yeah. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Life would have been way different, and maybe not maybe not better. Maybe not better. So we'll see. We'll see as we move on. Anyway, what else is on the list here? Oh, transition in the news. I got some stories, and not necessarily gonna go. We're not gonna hit them today. But as I was looking through the news stories, so for days and days and weeks on end, Canadian Farmstead said Jim missed out on investing in Henry Ford. Jim laid a bet on how long Jesus was going to be on the cross. So the little tab at the bottom of my browser here that pops up all the news stories, I'll pop it up there. It'll pop up on accident, and I'll see what the headlines are. Sometimes I'll click through them just to see what's going on. The election kind of flipped the switch. all the news stories changed. The hard hitting stories on the corruption of Trump. Just the headlines have completely changed since the election. It's almost like it was the most important election of lifetime, except until it was done. Now we're just going to bury our heads, and we're going to talk about literally pulled up articles. The Bitcoin article is one of them. The headline for this one that we'll talk about later this week: bones from a 16th century shipwreck suggest left-handedness changes what happens to us when we die. It was an interesting article. 14 religious myths debunked by archaeological evidence. That one popped up. And a few other ones I got here on the list, but man, very, very little political shit in the feed anymore. One did pop up that concerns me. This might not be necessarily a bad sign, but a lot of folks that I know that are not political, that abstain quite a bit, that don't trust the government, that don't trust voting, that don't think it matters, dove back in and voted for Trump. A little bit because of his support for Bitcoin, but B, a lot jumped in for getting Ross Ulbricht out of jail, which is fantastic. I feel that Ross should have never went to jail, and I think he definitely deserves to be out at this point. And they're pressuring. Donald Trump promised to do it, but we all know promises out of the mouth of a politician are like nothing. They're pressuring him. They're staying on him. There's been a push to keep reminding him of that. But I see this release on the AP. Trump on day one, begin deportation push, pardon January 6 rioters, and make his criminal cases vanish. Canadian Farmstead says this is the time they pushed through the digital IDs and other things the right was against. Right. People are all excited because he was elected, and people stop remembering that he's not president until the end of January. Government still functions between now and then. It was the same. It is the same as it was the day before the election until the end of January. I read this whole article looking for a list of things that President Trump is supposedly going to be doing on day one of his presidency. It talks about last time he became president, he went in with a day one list where he was just going to do a bunch of shit. To fix all Obama stuff. that didn't really necessarily happen. And I searched this article for all the things that he's promising he's going to do on day one of his presidency this time. And unfortunately, I didn't see anything about Ross. But he said he's going to do it. We'll see. I really hope he does. I really, really, really hope he does. I hope he sticks to his promise. I hope it doesn't change him nonetheless. Like, it doesn't change his presidency or anything like that. I hope it happens. I just hope it doesn't fall through the tracks. I really hope it doesn't fall through the cracks. And I don't see it anywhere on this list of things that are coming from him on day one. Fool me once, shame on you. Take their ad says Southpaws get immediate reincarnation to try again with the proper hand. The article was, and I'll probably talk about it tomorrow. The left-handed article, basically at the end of the article, I just had a confused look on my face as to, yeah, we'll save it for tomorrow. Anyway, let's wrap it up for Monday. Let's get out of here. Appreciate everybody coming out, hanging out. If you want to check out Director Detour with my interview with Promoda, Mike Homestead said, did he say he would pardon him day one? He did, I believe. That he said he was going to pardon him, and he also started a push for day one, or that might have been Ross's supporters. I think if he doesn't do it day one, it doesn't matter. It won't happen. If he doesn't do it at the beginning of his term, it won't happen. There will be no reason to later. Anyway, it's Monday, guys. Get out there, get your week started right, get a bunch of stuff going and rolling, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Hope you had a great weekend and got a bunch of stuff done. And we will circle back and catch up with you tomorrow.